And we're back. I went outside. I did a little bit of stuff I had to do. Little nice wind to refresh. And I'm here. And to add on to what I said in the last video about how kids should not be on the internet, another reason why I feel so strongly about it is because now that we live in a world of social media, and somebody like me who makes videos, with all the videos I make, I press a nice little button that says not made for kids. The content in my stuff is not for kids. And I have come across a lot of things that shows me that the internet is not safe, such as influencers trying to teach kids and try to lure in kids into their lifestyle. And that's not something I'm comfortable with. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that if I open this world for my kid, he will come across influencers trying to teach him a certain way how to be, a certain way on how to think, questioning them. Are you sure you're a boy? Do you feel like a boy today? You know there's room to feel like a boy and a girl. So I cannot. Nope, not happening. Because that's just adding on to my last video. This video, that's about how school is man-made. There's nothing, I'm sorry. I know I sound crazy when I say stuff like this because I get the point of school. It's for education and it's for teaching and guiding the future of our world because that's what kids are. But that's not what's going on. It's not. And I'm sure at some point in history, school was good and useful, but it no longer is. Because now teachers are having the permission to put their personal agenda into the schools, into the kids, and teach kids what they believe in rather than teaching kids the basics on how to handle the world once you're no longer a kid. There's nothing in schools anymore preparing the mind of the young age. Kids are no longer being taught how to handle the world. I was barely taught how to handle the world when I was in school. Nothing about going to school taught me how to be a human. And the idea is the first education comes from home. And the idea is also stranger danger. At one point, schools used to teach, basics of being an adult. How to cook, how to clean, how to sew, how to plumb, how to do this, how to do mechanics. There was a lot of, more opportunities. But there no longer is. And don't get me wrong, just like everything else, how I always say there's good and bad. There are good schools with good teachers. There are a lot of good teachers in the world. There are a lot of good professors in the world. There are a lot of good educators in the world who literally, honestly, genuinely want to educate the young children to build a bright future. But just like everything else in the world, the not so good get a handle of it. The not so good take their little turn on how to do things, and it somehow throws the whole thing out of whack. I don't like it. Sending your kids to public school, it's really a hit or miss. Whether they'll get a good teacher or not. Whether they'll have a good school or not. Whether they'll get good education or not. If you do a private school, same thing. If you do homeschool, I know it's not optional for everybody. Not everybody can. But I think by now, as parents, as families, whatever, we should evolve our lives on how to better guide the young. Because children are the choice, are what happens when adults do adult things. Kids don't just pop up. You don't just go outside one day in your backyard. It's like, oh, well, there was it sprouted a kid. Now I gotta take care of it. You don't go to a pet store and buy one. There's people who, that's a whole conversation for another time. But kids are what happens, are the effect, are the results of adult behavior. Adults do adult things and therefore a child comes out of it. And because such situation happens, I truly believe that once that has happened to a family and whatever it is that's taking care of that child, Now they should try their best to guide that kid. Now they should try their best to change life around to benefit that child. From the second I was pregnant, I wanted to homeschool my kid. I did not want to send him to school at all. And I hate that I did. But the time when I sent him to school, I didn't have the knowledge on how to go about homeschooling, because I could have done it all along. It is much easier to homeschool your kid than it is to go to work and send your kid to school, because regardless, you're having to worry about it. There is no way around it. If you're sending your kids to school, you have to get up. You gotta make sure that they get up. You gotta make sure that they get ready. You gotta go out of your way to get yourself ready, get the kid ready, make sure the kid is ready, take the kid to school, make sure the kid gets to school, worry about if they're safe or not, get yourself to work, be at work, wonder when you're gonna get out of work, go cook, find a way to, no matter what, when it has to do with kids, you're gonna have to find a way. And I think that the best way to do it is find a way on how to keep them home and homeschool them. Oh, but there won't be social. In today's world, was there school way back then when people first learned how to be people? Was there school all along for humans to learn how to socialize? Absolutely not. And how many of us actually stay with the people we socialize in school? How many of us actually stay forever best friends with everybody we stay? Very few. I'm very lucky to have somebody that I talk to still from middle school. But she lives in one state, I live in the other state. We go sometimes months upon months without talking to each other. We grow up, we separate. Not everybody stays with their high school best friend. So it's like you go to school to learn how to socialize just to later on not socialize with those people because you outgrow high school, you outgrow school. You don't have, the purpose of school shouldn't be, oh, you're gonna be antisocial, you socialize, they're gonna be such an awkward kid. Why are they gonna be awkward? Is it the people who's raising them are awkward? Are y'all not talking to the kid inside the house? Are y'all not teaching them how to conversate? Are y'all not taking them outside of the house at some point and teaching them how to be respectful inside of a store, acknowledging people out in the world? Do you keep them inside of a box? It's confusing to me why people think that homeschool kids are antisocial. They're not. Do you know how many successful people come out of high school, be homeschooled? There are schools being called out because they are removing historic books from the schools, actual good books that educate the children. They're getting rid of those books. The libraries in schools are changing completely. There are books in school now teaching kids about sex. And I'm all for sex education, and I'm all for sex talk, and I'm all for educating your kids properly. But there's a right way to do it. And there has come up parents with worksheets from schools of a little girl who was told to go home and talk to her dad about her dad's erection. What? Teachers telling kids that, hey, what do you feel like? You don't have to feel like that. Do you feel like a boy? Do you feel like a girl? Do you feel like a rabbit? Do you feel like a... Excuse me? I have a son. And the only things that he should be worried about is his Pokemon card collection, whether his Pokemon cards collection are getting bigger now. When will he get a new Hot Wheel? When will mommy let me watch on the tablet? Because he has very limited time on the tablet, and I very much limit what he watches on there, because even then I don't like it. That's his worries. Not being caught picking his nose. At one point, as a young boy, he liked colors like pink. He liked colors that are considered to be girl colors. And I never shamed him for it, but I never gave into it like, wow, he likes pink. I think for sure he's gonna need a transition. What? There are schools that no longer have good guidance counselors to help these children get through what they're going through. And I'm talking too much because I'm a mother and I feel highly about these things, and it makes me sound bitter and grumpy. So let's go on to another topic, shall we? Okay, let me get my phone, hold on.